Hello and welcome to xtina podcast. I'm your host, Christian. Today we have a very special guest all the way from New York, right? Awesome.
That is correct.
Yes. And we met through Instagram, which is great.
Yeah, I think I added you once. I was like, Genie in a podcast. That sounds like it's for me. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And like the other day, I received you kind of mentioned it, but somebody else left a review like yesterday. And I feel like I was like just kind of down and I randomly look at my phone and another fighter, she's just like, I'm glad I found my people. And like, I feel the same way. It's just like, we're not crazy. There's multiple people who are just enamored with Christina's career.
100%. I don't understand why every human being isn't, but yeah,
Right.
for
I never
sure.
understood that. Well, I guess let's get to know you a little bit. How long have you
Yeah.
been a fighter?
So I always appreciated Christina when I first heard her, like from like Reflection, and I mean I was 9 when that came out, so like Genie in a Bottle, etc. Like Stripped is the first time that I really started to take notice. I mean, because obviously that's when she was starting to be herself.
Yeah.
I can tell you the exact vocal riff that I heard that like made me go, "Huh, this is interesting."
What was it?
On Dirty, right after the Redman rap, she has this like I'm not gonna attempt it, but there's like this vocal riff, and I'm just like, hang on, she can sing. And I started to appreciate her really when I heard that, and then I remember walking into a Barnes and Noble in Manhattan, and you used to be able to like put on the headphones and
Yeah.
listen to songs. And for some reason, the track name "Impossible" like stood out to me, so I'm like, let me listen to that song.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, she's doing like jazz music? This is not dirty. So I started to really appreciate her then. But then really what made me like a true stan is Back to Basics. Because that's when I
Oh, wow.
realized I was just like, wait, she can do anything, can't she? And that was so inspiring to me because I was just like, not only does she go for it, but she has the voice to be able to do it and kill it. So like, that was just always really, really inspiring to me. So starting from like I remember watching him like tuning into MTV and watching her interview on for I don't remember that interviewer's name, but
Carson
it was like
Daly.
no, it was
Oh, dang.
something Norris, I think.
I know you're talking
But
about this
she did
tall, skinny white guy.
yeah. She like talked about writing the album and just like her thought process and the artistry behind it, and I was just like, I'm in, I'm good, I'm sold. So yeah, maybe 2006, let's say. I've been like a
Yeah, definitely.
fighter, like a stanhood. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you said it was the riff after the rap or the one
Yes.
before it?
Is it? I think it's right after the rap, or
Oh, dang.
maybe it's right before it. Oh
Yeah,
God,
because she's like
I
leading
should.
into it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there's gonna
That's
be
going to
no
be the
such I'm
social clip.
singing on here. Oh God, please don't. I don't want her to see it, especially. So please
No, we
don't.
want her to see it. That'd be great. At some point in this career, I want to have
Mm.
her on as a guest. That'd be so cool.
I have faith in you. At some point in my career, I want to work with her, and I have faith in me too. So we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Well, there's so much opportunity, especially because like you do theater, and also I know that she's like producing burlesque.
She is. I went to. I'm such a stan. I went to Manchester to see that.
Nuh-uh,
Like
really?
over the summer. Yeah, I
Oh my
did. I
gosh,
did.
how cool!
Yeah, it was. I think it is so good. And as a person who's like a theater person, I not only appreciate it so much, but I just think that people might come at me for saying this, but I think they really elevated the whole story. They elevated both Tess and Allie's characters so much. And I kind of want them to make a movie out of the
Out of
stage
the
musical, which like because that script I think is just gives all the characters so much more depth. So like I don't know, I just think it's a really really well done adaptation in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like all my friends, they all expected me to like super like be in love with burlesque. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's cute. Like I do love the
Mm,
soundtrack and her
mm.
original numbers in it. But I'm just like the actor, I guess the plot, it was kind of like one dimensional. I think the coolest part about it is like the air rights.
You think that's the coolest part about it? That's so funny. I actually think I think they changed it. Like, I don't think they even talk about air rights on the stage
Oh
show.
no.
Like,
That's how I learned about air rights.
I mean, same. I think that's how most of us learned about air rights. I don't know. I think it's silly, and campy. Obviously,
Yeah, totally.
I happened to be in London when the movie came out. I was doing like a study abroad, so I went to the premiere, and I got to like talk to Christina for like literally 30 seconds,
What?
maybe. Yeah, that was like honestly, that made my whole life. I see people like doing the meet and greets, and I'm like, haha, I met her on the pink carpet in 2010.
Yes.
And I talked to her for longer than you, but whatever.
Well, what did you ask her? What did you talk to her about?
Okay, yeah, obviously I had to rehearse, right? And I had to
Yeah.
like think about it. So I remember, well, her birthday was coming up because it was in, Burlesque was released in December in the UK. Her birthday was just in a few days, and so I made sure to wish her a happy birthday. I I asked her, I don't know why I thought this was like funny. I asked her to hit the high E above middle C for me. I was like, hey, and she just like cackled at me. And then I just, I literally did a whole fanboy thing and I was like, please don't ever stop. Like you're such a savior to me and like your work just, it means so much to me and so many people that I know. And yeah, so and I was already active on like I think it was one of the message boards. I don't remember which iteration it was. So,
Mhm.
I met up with somebody that lived in the UK at the time. It was cool. It was cool. But yeah, I got to meet her, and then Cher stole my Sharpie
What?
during the same night. Yeah, yeah, she did. But and then I did end up getting it back somehow. So it's just
It's
probably
blessed
still the
by
coolest
Cher.
night. Oh, it's I call it the Sharpie. It's got I have it preserved.
As you should.
it's she. Yeah. So anyway, that's still probably the coolest night that I've had in my life.
Oh my gosh. So you've had so much like I don't know. I was like I didn't expect like all this lore that you have with Christina.
Yeah, you should have had me on the podcast sooner, or we could just do
Oh,
a second episode. I have a lot.
we totally will. Oh my gosh, how cool. And then you
Yeah.
were talking about how you were coming up with your play and it's based off of a
Yes.
gin.
There is a Jin slash genie in
Hmm.
the play. I've been writing plays for quite a long time. This is like my first like full length debut play coming up, and also the first time I wrote a song for one of my plays, and it's inspired by Genie in a Bottle, and I gave
Ah,
that song to the genie that's in the play, of course. So yeah, yeah, super super stoked for this new venture of mine, and of course, there's some Christina flavor infused into it because I don't know if I can write anything without taking some inspiration from her artistry, to be quite honest. So,
really?
yeah.
Like what? Well, obviously the
Yeah.
genie, but
Well, I do have an obsession with genies and jinns in general. I grew up Muslim, and, as far as like that ideology goes, genies are fucking real. Like, and
really?
oh yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much of it I like literally take to at this point in my life, but according to that text and that scripture, genies like exist just alongside us in a different realm, and they can like reveal themselves to you, just like in Aladdin, sort of.
Oh yeah.
Although they're not so like they don't like automatically come with 3 wishes and stuff like that. But a lot of kids grew up telling ghost stories at sleepovers. I went to sleepovers and we were telling jinn stories. So that's the kind of equivalent in like cultural equivalents
Mhm.
that we have. And yeah, I don't know. I always thought it was fun that she had like a genie inspired song, and I obviously like to me it's more than just like Aladdin or like some older folks are like they used to watch that show I Dream of Genie and things like
Oh my
that.
gosh. That's me.
Um
But the reruns, obviously.
oh yeah, of course, of course. But yeah, to some people that's like the biggest cultural like sort of thing that they think of. For me, it's the jinn and genies are just like I'm gonna use those words interchangeably, by the way. So because they are, but yeah, it's been such a much more like sort of infused part of like my upbringing and my culture. So yeah, yeah.
What can you tell us about this musical that's so inspired by Christina?
Okay, so it's a play with one song. So let's call it a musical. Why not?
Oh yes, yes.
But no, I do have plans to write more songs about for the show moving forward. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, so it's about sort of a lot of it is emotionally autobiographical, and not so literally autobiographical, but a lot of the experiences that the main character goes through in the play are they come. I take inspiration from my own life, and so what that means is it's about navigating cultural identity and queerness and language, and kind of like growing up in New York City and having all of these cultures like sort of like surrounding you and having to find yourself in all of that. And so, the thing is that since the character is based on myself, a lot of the places that the character draws strength from is where I draw strength from. And like for me, I learned very early on from Christina, my teacher, my mama, that you stay true to yourself, you don't back down from what you believe to be true, and like it's worth the fight to hold on to that sense of self and to listen to quote unquote the voice within.
Yeah.
And and having so many voices around you telling you what they expect you to be, and to sort of like come out and turn into, whether that's in the queer community or in like the Pakistani community that I grew up being a part of, or just any kind of like, even like I was a theater kid, and there's a lot of being a Christina fan in like the theater world. It's kind of like the first thing everyone says is, "Do you know how much vocal damage she's doing by doing all of those
Oh my
riffs?" And
god.
I'm just like, and I'm always just like, "Well, you know what? She sounds better than ever, so whatever." Like,
She really
uh,
has. And
yeah,
like
she.
her tone has gotten like deeper and like more rounded. Um so yeah,
For
whenever they
sure.
say like her, yeah, but that would be
Um,
so cool.
yeah.
Like, so it is very autobiographical, and I love. Somebody said it. I think it was Ashley in a previous episode that like something
Mhm.
that kind of like draws the fighters to one another, but also Christina is our kind of like shared trauma, and a
Mm,
lot of the people probably will be able to see themselves within your play also because she has a lot of like queer fans and a lot of
mm.
minorities as well.
For sure, 100%. I think I remember her saying that. I actually shared that clip on my stories because I was like, not only did I share that clip on my stories, and then I subsequently shared like like live performances, like I mean moments from live performances of hers, where I'm like, okay, if you guys, if y'all are like watching this and you want to know like where I hear like where I connect to it from like my trauma, right? Just listen to her do these notes that she did live, by the way. And one of them was from the strip tour when she does that last, and she just like goes for, I don't know, like over a minute doing
Oh
like
yeah,
you
like
know
she's
exactly the one I'm talking
breathing.
about. It's
Yes.
crazy. Yeah. So I think like one of the ways I describe the play is it's a coming of age story, except in this play, the person comes of age in their mid 30s because they've been stunted by a lot of the trauma that they've had to face. They've had to either like dissociate from life and live in a fantasy world, which is I think where a lot of like stanhood comes from. Like it's
Mhm.
just this like hyper obsession over whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a pop star necessarily. For a lot of us queers, it is pop stars, especially female pop stars, because it's this like sense of empowerment that you get from like thwarting some kind of like expectation of the gender. And we all know Christina loves to do that shit.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I really address head on a lot of like a lot of trauma that if you don't face it, it's not going to go away. It's going to catch up to you until you really like address it head on. Yeah. So Christina has helped me to do a lot of that. Honestly, I swear, stripped saved my life. And I don't say that in a like a hyperbolic sense. Like I literally, oh God, this sounds so dramatic, but I owe my life to that album.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It really helped me to see myself. What can I say?
Yeah.
I mean, turning on MTV and seeing two guys like not just kissing but making out
Yeah.
in the beautiful video, it's like, what? It was just mind blowing to me to be able to see that representation. And yeah, it's like two white guys that are doing it, but still, you didn't see any guys doing that at all. So like, I still saw myself in it for sure.
Right.
And
Oh
she
my
did it. She
gosh.
did it for a reason. She did it for a reason, and she knew what she was doing. and I appreciated it for sure.
Oh my God. That's so great. What?
Yeah.
Oh, where can we see your play?
Where can you
Obviously, it's
see
in New
my
York.
play? Yes, so it's in the New York Theater Festival. It's coming up quite soon. I don't know if my schedule's been like thwarted so much over the last few weeks. I know we've been trying to like record this, but
Yes.
the show is on February 4th, 5th, and 8th. It's at the Hudson Guild Theater in Chelsea. And so the festival gave me a 90-minute slot. I have like a longer play that I wrote, but this is like a 90-minute version of it that I'm putting out as like the first iteration of it. And so hopefully I'll be able to send a recording of this to like other producers and get a bigger budget and do it for more than just three performances, and invite Christina, and all
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff.
Oh my God.
But right now, yeah, so it's going to be it's a pretty limited run, and it's a condensed version of the play, but it's still one that I'm very, very proud of. I've been writing it since like, I mean, I started thinking about it about a year ago, like January 30th of last year, actually. But then I didn't start writing it, putting pen to paper until like maybe April. And so the the development period for this play hasn't actually been that long. Um,
Wow.
so this is the stepping stone as far as where I hope to see it go one day. But yeah, I actually just as far as the genie in the play goes, I actually like I had cast somebody as the genie, and then like that didn't quite work out, and then I was like, okay, I'll play the genie. So I was going to be playing the genie for a long time, and then just a couple of weeks ago, I went to a drag show by this drag artist named Lady Bushra,
Uh-huh.
and she just moved here from the UK, and she's like a South Asian drag queen who speaks the language and has like this like gender bending presence. And I went up to her after the show and I was just like, hey, do you act? Would you want to play a genie? And she was just like, fuck, I'm in, let's do it. And so
What?
I got a drag queen to play the genie, which I'm like so pumped about, and she's fucking hilarious. So I cannot wait to show people what we've been cooking.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And it's like
Yeah.
happenstance, like it all kind of like came together.
That's the thing about this play. It's called Sad Magic Sins, and it's magical. Like, and I know that sounds like, okay, yeah, whatever. You think your work is magical, but like this play is calling the shots. I'm not. I promise. Like I'm directing it and producing it and I've written it, but like there are so many like twists and turns that have happened just out of like pure like happenstance, or like I just happened to be in the like I only decided to go to her show like less than an hour before the show started. I was just like, oh, this is happening at 5 p.m. and I had a friend coming into the city, and I was like, we hadn't decided what we were gonna do. We were gonna maybe go see a show, like a play or something. And then I was like, hey, there's this drag queen from Bradford, England, who's now in the US. Do you want to go check out her show? And she was wearing a sari, during the show, which is like that
Uh-huh.
traditional like South Asian garb. And actually, I was gonna ask her after the show on tips on how to wear one, because I was gonna literally play like, I've never done drag, but it was gonna be my drag debut. And then I was like, wait, you already have the skills and you know how to do the makeup. Like, let me see if you'll do it. And so she did agree to do it, and I'm just like so pumped about that casting for sure. Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah.
Is it easy? Because like I imagine it would be super hard to like write and direct and everything a play, especially like in a year.
It has not been easy, I will say that. Just the writing of it alone it's been, this is definitely the most honest work I've written. Okay, this is my script, guys. I'm here. I mean, I've always written about brownness and queerness, and I always like venture towards like fantasy stuff, but I had to really look at my own reflection, I'll say it that way, in this play, and sort of like understand the darker parts of myself, and what trauma does to a person, and how art can really save you, and help you to cling on. And so for a lot of my life, that was honestly listening to Christina, right? There's almost no point in me looking at like my end of the year wrapped list because I'm like the whole entire list is going to be Christina. It's just what song made the top of the list this time.
What
But
song
yeah,
was it
she's
last year? Or if you had to
um
pick one.
it was probably, oh god, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was probably something from Aguilera, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Also, by the way, the play is written with a lot of Urdu in it, which is a language that I grew up speaking, and I also have been studying Spanish since I was in middle school. And when I was in middle school, I remember sitting with Mi Reflejo, and I like did not get up from my seat until I had looked up every word that I didn't know.
Oh,
And
really?
are you kidding me? I was like, I am learning Spanish in school, and this artist that I love has Spanish music. I didn't know that she didn't actually like necessarily speak it herself, like
Yeah.
fluently at home and whatever. But at that time. But yeah, not only has she helped me survive life, but she's also helped me survive Spanish class. And yeah, so I really really appreciate her work in Spanish, even though I'm not a native speaker. But and I speak like enough to get most of it, and then I always like the looking up the lyrics and then understanding like, oh wow, it just sounds so much like it sounds so much cooler in Spanish than because some in that earlier album we have a lot of songs that are in both languages, and I think a lot of native Spanish speakers are like, but
Yeah.
to like Genio Atrapado, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my god, that is so much more beautiful in Spanish, but like of course I'm approaching it from a different place.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, I think you know what? It was probably Brujeria. That was
Oh,
probably the top.
wow.
Yeah, I really, really like that. I mean, I think that whole album is great, honestly. I still don't understand why that one song is on there twice with like her solo version and then like
And
the feature
Christina,
version.
though.
Um,
Yes.
I'm like, the duet is so good, just leave it at that. But whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that was a long-winded way of saying it. I think it was Brujeria that was the top of the list last year. Yeah. Um,
Oh, okay. But you were
yeah.
saying it's the play was in
Oh, yeah.
both English and Urdu? Urdu?
Yeah, yeah, Urdu. There's yeah, and so that's been as far as like writing it, and then having to cast it, it's been that's been, one of the big challenges because you have to find people that not only fit the part as far as racial identity, age, and then like you want them to be able to speak enough of the language if they don't speak it necessarily fluently. Um, and there's a lot of like characters that are not necessarily cisgender, and so I'm just kind of like trying to find all of the right puzzle pieces for it. So yeah, it's been challenging. And then when you have such a limited pool of talent that's available, and then like I have a very small budget play. um I don't blame anyone for taking a bigger contract or something and like sort of going, okay, well, that was going to be your trajectory. Thanks a lot. I'll have to find somebody else now. So there have been a lot of like casting shakeups, and that's been a challenge. I've considered playing so many of the roles myself, and they all the roles came from me, so I think I can do pretty much all the roles justice. Um, but yeah, it's also been a gift because sometimes it's like, okay, well, you have to use the limitations that you have, and you have to go, okay, well, what's a creative solution for me, and it makes your work turn out to be even better than
Right.
you had planned. So yeah, but it's been it's been hard on multiple levels, and then there's the fundraising element of it, which is huge because I'm producing it myself. I'm not like a rich producer, so I've had to do, I created merch
Really?
to to sell. Yeah. Yeah, guys, all you guys, please support my show and help me pay my
Yes, we'll put it in the
actors.
descriptions
uh,
everywhere.
yeah, yeah. You can just donate if you want, or you can also like buy some Sad Magic Sins merch. I think we have some cool stuff. We have like stickers. We have like I designed cool Sad Magic Sins underwear. There's like hoodies, tote bags. Yeah, there's like for all income ranges. We have stuff for you to be able to help the show.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I'm answering like so many questions at once, and I
No,
know I'm like
it's
jumping
good.
around a lot, but yeah,
I
I could
actually
just
have
go
a
on and on
friend. I'm
about
going
my
to tell
stuff.
her. I don't know if you watched it. She's the redhead, and she's in like most of the podcasts. Delena, she's going to be in New York, so I'm going to tell her she should go see your play.
Oh my God, totally, totally tell her.
Yes.
I'm gonna drop the URL. If for anybody that wants to like the link tree that they can find all the stuff. So the play is called, like Sad Magic Sins. So I really like the acronym SMS. It's a very like non-American like sort of way of saying text message. At least in South Asia, everyone's like, "Oh, I'll SMS you," but it's the URL is smsnyc.com. So yeah, and you can find all of the ticket information and the link to merch or donations, signing up for a newsletter, all that stuff. So yeah, or you can follow the Instagram. It's sad.magic.sins. And yeah, if you want to put that in the description too, that would be
Cool.
fantastic.
Yes.
Uh, yeah,
So now I guess we'll do like a quick Q&A and just
let's
like
do
whatever comes to
it.
mind.
Sounds good.
What is you said Back to Basics is probably like your favorite, even though you related to Strip so well. What is your favorite song off of Back to Basics?
Let me correct you.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't express it correctly.
Okay.
I think Stripped is my favorite album, but Back to Basics is just the one that helped me go from like big fan to stan, right? I was
Okay.
like, that's just what solidified it. But in the trajectory of her career, Stripped is my favorite song. But I'm
Okay.
gonna take this confusion to name my top song from both albums. There you go.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
So just off the top of my head, my top song from Back to Basics is Welcome. I just think
Oh, yeah.
it's yeah, it's I love it so much. And then from Stripped, oh God, this is hard, but I think somebody else named this as their top Christina song as well, and this song was my anthem for a huge part of my life. But Cruise is
Oh,
just because
yes. Selenas.
it's just about feeling trapped and just wanting freedom and just thinking about your future and like, I am so ready to get out of this place and just live my life and breathe. That was just a huge part of like what I wanted my whole life was, to attain that freedom. And yeah, I knew for the longest time that sorry, this is supposed to be a rapid fire thing, right? But
Oh, no, it's fine.
I'm gonna treat this as therapy. The first time I like moved out of my parents' place, I knew for like years that okay, as soon as I walk out the door, that's gonna be the song that plays. Like, and so it was queued up for years, like Cruise,
Aw.
and I played that, as I walked over the threshold, and yeah, I'm never gonna forget that.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. I love that.
Yeah.
And then you said that a drag queen is going to play the genie. If you had to pick a name, oh yeah,
Okay.
what would your drag queen name be?
That's
It's been a
okay.
crazy day.
No, that's all right. So I think my drag queen name would be. So it's a play on. I mentioned this. Sari is like it's a traditional garb. So I think the drag queen name that I would go with is Sari Natsari. You know.
Oh my gosh! Did you think about
Yeah.
this before? Like, did you already think about
Oh.
that name?
Oh yeah. I actually almost named the genie in the play Sari Natsari, but I came up with a different name. She's called Shy in the play. But at one point she was called Sari Natsari, and then I was like, actually, I'm gonna keep that for myself one day.
Yeah, totally.
Um, yeah. So
Would you do
that
drag, or have you done it?
I have not done drag, but
Oh
I know I will at some point. I just
my
like
gosh!
I don't know. It'll take the right time and place for it. I was actually really excited to do it in my play because I would get to control so many aspects of it.
Yeah.
Um, but no, one day I will. But
Do you know how to do
it's
makeup?
yeah. No, I don't.
Oh
That's
my
the thing.
god!
There are so many skills that I need to brush up on before I can try. But I'm in the right place for it. There's plenty of people that can show me how to do
Oh
drag
sure,
makeup in New York. So
for sure.
yeah, for sure. But it would
If
definitely be very South Asian inspired.
really,
100%.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and her name is Sari Natsari, so I was like, I'd probably
yeah,
be wearing a lot of
totally.
saris. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. If your if Sari Not Sari was
Hmm.
doing a Christina song, what song would you choose?
Vanity.
Oh, perfect answer.
Just such a perfect drag queen song. Are you kidding me? But also,
Yes.
Genie in a Bottle would be on heavy rotation, obviously. Um,
Yes.
yeah, but I don't know. I'd maybe try to do like a South Asian inspired mix. The song that I wrote for the show is inspired by Genie in a Bottle, and I'm not a producer. I just wrote the lyrics. The
Mhm.
producer, Tony Anos, who's from Philadelphia, I told him what I wanted to hear from the track. And so, what I had expressed was I would love for it to like sort of like be familiar to Genie in a Bottle, but also have some South Asian elements, if we can. And I think he did a really, really good job. So I know I sent you a version of the
Yes.
demo. I don't know if that was the one that had the South Asian flavor on it or not. But yeah. Anyway, to answer your question, Vanity and Genie in a Bottle for my drag queen stuff, and also
I
plugging
definitely want to
the
hear the end
song.
result, like
Yeah,
a
we're doing a
song.
90-second version for the play because
Okay.
we have a limited time. But
Yeah.
but I wrote enough lyrics for a full single, so hopefully we'll release it as a full single at some point.
Oh my God,
Um,
totally. Had you ever written a song before?
um, yeah, but like not like I never like took it. It was always just for like in my diary kind of thing, right? Like it was never meant for like public consumption. So this is my first time writing a song that I knew was going to be heard by people and performed in a show and things like that. So yeah, this is my genie in a bottle moment and my stripped moment. Like
Oh my God.
who'd have thought?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the end, are you going to have to be one of the characters in your play?
So, the show opens in 5 days, and one of the challenges, like I said, was like casting stuff, right? So I had to do a last minute casting shuffle like just the other day, and I might have to take on one of the roles one night, just because of like last minute availability. But I think like I kind of I after this process, it's been so much, and I'm just kind of like I want to like sit down and just watch the show. And I'll get to do that at least on most of the nights, if not all the nights, because hey, it's like live stuff, right? So I might be able to find somebody to fill in that part for me on that one night. But yeah, I'm this process has been a huge learning process for me as far as like how involved I want to be with my work when it's up on its feet and running. And I definitely want to be the guy that just like chills and like watches it, not like necessarily in it, because I need to rest. I've worked too hard.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. And like, I'm sure it's like nonstop.
yeah, and it's my baby, so like, everyone in my life has been so like, are you going to be able to talk about anything aside from your show, Asim? Like at all? And we'll be like talking about anything else, and of course, the smallest thing I'll relate it back to my show because that's all I've been thinking about. And I think it's annoying to some people that are very close to me because like it's like okay, I need to like like I know it's your whole life, but it's not my whole life. Um, yeah, I don't even know what question I'm answering now. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
just like
It's fine.
going off. Yeah.
What? Well, you said this is the 90-minute.
Mhm.
It's going to be much longer. So next step for you, you want to look about finding producers or backers so you can produce the whole thing?
That would be the goal.
Hmm.
Or I've also submitted it to a couple of theater companies in New York, in Philadelphia, because those are very accessible cities for me. I used to live in Philly for a minute,
Hmm.
in my 20s. Yeah, so I'm hoping to either find like a producer that would like to produce it, like as far as like being able to back it, or like a theater company that is willing to back it and put the resources behind it, which I'm really excited for. But I do that's definitely the what's next on the docket for this play. But I there's another play that I've been working on for over 10 years, and I'm hoping to get that up and running at some point. And then there's like another show that might be my drag debut, who knows. But I'm writing a play about this woman called Benazir Bhutto, who was the prime minister of Pakistan. And she was elected like decades ago, right? And that was a Muslim country that elected a woman prime minister decades ago. And I just think it's a really interesting thing to bring up now, because in the States, we still haven't gotten around to it.
You're
um,
right. Oh my God.
and she actually was, when she was running for her third term, she was assassinated during one of her
Oh
rallies,
no.
which also sort of like recalls to, I know Trump likes to make a lot of noise about having been almost shot at a
Oh,
rally.
right.
This woman actually was shot and killed at a rally, in 2007. So like, and she's like Pakistan's only like gay icon. Like all the gays love her. So like, I'm just kind of like, I would love to like write a show about her and play her in drag. That just sounds like so much fun. She also had a lot of like really cool outfits that I think like were very drag-ish.
Is that why she
But
became a like gay cultural like figure?
well, this maybe, I mean, her stuff was very traditionally South Asian in general. Like looking at it from a
Yeah.
Western perspective, you can sort of read drag into it a little bit, I think. But I think just like many, many other women who stand up against all of this misogyny and accomplish great things, and the way that that is inspiring to a lot of queer people, I think that alone probably did a
Made her an
lot of the
icon.
work. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, such an icon for
Oh my
sure.
gosh, that sounds so amazing. And like, I'd never
Yeah.
heard of this person. So it's definitely going to educate us on her.
Yeah, I mean, every Pakistani and South Asian definitely, like has heard about her, but exactly for the reason that you're saying, I'm like, everybody needs
Yeah.
to know about this woman. Like, why isn't there
Yes.
already like a musical about her? Um,
Right. So nobody else steal his idea. Like,
oh God, yeah. But you know what? Even if somebody does, honestly, like do a good job. First of all, do it well, and I just think whoever writes it, do a good job. But I'll have my version out there, so
yeah.
her life isn't like doesn't belong to me as a copyright. So and she has there's still like family members of her that are around, obviously, and like a couple of them are artists and things like that. So like I would want to try to get like the blessing, obviously, to like
Oh, yeah.
make sure that it's all like chill, because I respect her so much, and I would never want to do something that's like feels disrespectful to anyone. um but still, yeah. Anyway, whoever, if anybody steals the idea, do it respectfully, please. But yeah,
Sounds great.
yeah.
Well, I
Um,
admire your tenacity and everything
thank
you
you,
went through to get this play like up and running and everything you're still having to do at the last minute.
thank
Um,
you. No sleep or very little
yes.
sleep.
Oh God. So tell everybody again all the details. Hudson Theater,
Yeah,
right?
the Hudson Guild Theater. Yeah, it's in Chelsea, and it's February 4th at 9 p.m. February 5th, which happens to be my birthday, actually, just coincidentally.
You're an
Um,
Aquarius? Ah,
I am an Aquarius. Wait, what's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
Okay. Oh, wait. So your birthday just happened.
I did.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
Oh, you're Christina. Hey, hang on. We're getting sidetracked.
I guess. Sorry.
Sorry, February 4th at 9 p.m., February 5th
Right.
at 6:30 p.m., and then February 8th, which is the Saturday. It's like the only weekend performance that we were slated for. That's at 6:30 p.m. And at least on the February 5th, if you come, we're all going to go out after, probably because, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
If you all show up, come out with us. And then February 8th, we might do like a cast outing afterwards. And, everyone's going to be invited, obviously, if they want to. So, come see a show in New York, come party with us after, and hopefully I'll also have a recording of it. It's like they're recording it in 4K and from three
Oh, what, really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So hopefully I'll have that. I mean, I'm making sure I have that for to show producers, of course,
Oh,
but
totally.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, depending on how like it comes out, I might make it available. Who knows?
Oh my God, it's so
We'll
great.
see.
I
We'll
would love to
see.
see it. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll definitely like share it at least, privately with people that are interested. But as far as making it
Yes.
publicly available, I
Oh,
have to
sure.
talk to all the actors and make sure that everyone's like chill with everything. But in any case, fingers crossed this is not going to be the last time people see the show anyway. And it is meant to be a live performance.
Mhm.
Whenever people go, I can't wait to read your play. I'm like, no, 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 it's not about reading my play. It's about seeing my play and seeing it live in person. So that's just the best way to consume theater, obviously. So yeah, yeah. And I just want to say I'm so, so grateful to be able to, to have a spot on your podcast to be able to reach like sort of Christina folks, because I consider as much as I consider like queer people my people and brown people my people, I also consider Christina people my people, like,
Oh,
so
totally.
yeah.
It took
So
me forever to like
yeah.
realize that too. Like it wasn't until last year where I'm like, why am I? I've been to a lot of concerts and of
Hmm.
hers. And I'm like, why am I not talking to these people? Like we should be getting along. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a small group of people that I met during the Liberation tour. And we also get together once in a while, and we're all like the level of stan that like we're gonna go see multiple dates of the concerts, right? So like
Mm.
we'll all be like meeting up with each other before the shows, or like, oh, which day are you going to Voltaire, or whatever. So like it's always fun to see familiar faces. And then one of my best friends who does a theater podcast, actually, he just happened to be standing next to me during I think it was 2023 Pride when she came to New York. Yeah, and so like this guy Jason was just standing next to me. We met what's his name? Matt. Because he's always like talking to the fans and
Oh, the
whatnot.
boyfriend?
Yeah,
Matt
the
Rutler?
fiance. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Matt. And then we just became good friends, and we happened to both be into theater and stuff. So a lot of my community has been built around meeting people through like just Christina related stuff. So yeah, definitely my people.
Yes. Thank
Except for
you.
you annoying ones. Kidding.
Oh, they exist. They are there. Oh, also, because I'm having a bad day, what is Christina's most angsty song,
Ooh.
in your opinion?
Oh my god. Okay. Hang on. Let me just do a quick run through of her catalog. I don't like. I've like jammed out to this song a couple of times, but the first one that comes to my mind for some reason is Circles. It's like
Okay.
from Lotus.
Yeah.
There's definitely a better. I don't know. For some reason, it just comes. I mean, obviously, Fighter is
Oh, yeah.
like her most iconic angsty song, and that was always like a huge song for me. But I don't know, for some reason Circles came to mind when you
No,
when
I
you asked
totally
me
get
that
it.
question. Yeah, yeah. But also, actually, I don't know if you would consider this an angsty song, but I think you could interpret it to be so. But La Reina from Aguilera,
Oh, yeah.
it's not necessarily like musically
Resilient,
angsty,
kind of like.
but oh yeah, it's just I don't know. There's some angst there, I think. So yeah,
Totally.
good question. Good question. I know you asked that
Awesome.
on previous episodes, but yeah, I should have been ready for it.
Well, thank you for being on. We will definitely have to have you on again whenever you're available and not super busy.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, anything Christina related at all, if you want to talk about it, I'm here to talk about it. So,
Okay.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you again so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.